for the '09 year. I'm Larissa Katz.
And I'm Robert Taylor, and coming up in the show tonight we have students with instruments, students with cameras, and students with snowboards.
But first, let's take a look at the near destruction of a Port Orchard pastime.
49 years of serving great burgers and supporting local teams, A&W had a tear-jerking week. They were forced to close their doors on Sunday. But with a generous support from the community and the heart not to give up, A&W reopened and will be around for many more years to support the PO community. Rick Gehring inherited the business from his father and has been running the local spot since 1997. After just 10 years, his business is being forced into involuntary Chapter 11 due to a $650,000 judgment against it to pay reasonable attorney fees, occurring from a sexual discrimination lawsuit filed by two former female employees in 2004.
There's something just wrong with the American justice system when an attorney can bankrupt an institution that has served our community for half a century and do it over trying to win 7 times more money than he won for his client. Something wrong with that.
Rick and his wife Karen were found not liable, but the legal strain of the lawsuit has proved too great for their business. November 13th, a huge crowd gathered to show the final rally. People young and old came from near and far to say goodbye to the restaurant and to honor their service to our local community for the past 50 years. Even Elvis came for the party.
You ain't never wanna have it anyway, no friend.
The owner, Rick Gehring, was here to tell old stories and say goodbye to so many of the community.
Pray for a miracle, and hopefully that there'll be a settlement and we can open the doors back up and continue running Bucks A&W like we've done for another 50 years.
Bucks A&W will now be keeping its hearts and doors open to the people of Port Orchard for many years to come.
Losing A&W would have been like losing a national landmark, a tradition, and a way of life.
However, for a very select few individuals, scuba diving is their way of life. Take a look.
There is an alien world here on Earth, and it's right beneath our oceans. But only scuba divers may come here. Scuba diving is one of the most extreme sports in the world. It takes training and a clear head, but it's also a lot of fun. Potential scuba divers are required by law to take a dive class. This includes classroom work, pool work, and open water dives. But what dive shop you take your class in is very important. This is Sound Dive Center, located at 5000 Burwell Street, Bremerton, Washington. It is one of the best dive shops in the state.
I like their customer service and their complete friendly attitude.
But it's not all fun and games. There are dangers.
I guess the best way to avoid the dangers of scuba diving is through training and experience. Always train for anything you want to do and dive at your experience level.
By keeping a clear head and making wise decisions, no scuba diver will ever be in danger. Some people may be worried about the cold or that the sound is too dirty to dive in.
It's not cold and it's not gross if you got the right stuff on.
Scuba diving is the experience of a lifetime, one that everyone should be able to take part in.
could never do what they do.
One thing I could never do is write with the skill of Debbie Maycomer.
Did you actually know that Miss Maycomer is a resident of Port Orchard?
No, I didn't know that.
Take a look at this.
Port Orchard is home to several incredible people, including a New York Times best-selling author, Debbie Maycomer.
We rented a typewriter. This is the days before the computers. Rented a typewriter, put it on the kitchen table. We had 4 babies. The oldest 2 would go off to school, and Supermom turned into that struggling young writer, and it took me 5 years to sell the first book.
Welcome to Port Orchard, a site familiar to most of us. But next August, our little town will be transformed into the fictional town of Cedar Cove, a town created by Debbie Maycomer to tell all the stories of Port Orchard. Debbie has stayed very involved with Port Orchard. She owns the 2 local buildings across from the post office, which include her tea house, office, and a new yarn shop to be opened this August. Cedar Cove Days will be a huge event running from August 26th to August 30th in 2009. The planning committee is expecting hundreds of people to be involved in over 35 events.
Business owners are all going to have Cedar Cove products that they're going to be selling on the streets. There's going to be a parade, a dance, dinners, breakfasts, all kinds of things. My kids are going to do the tour buses.
If you'd like to be involved with the upcoming events, check out the schedule at Debbie's website. Be a part of the transformation from Port Orchard to Cedar Cove.
She truly is an amazing person. Moving from literary works to visual works of art, the South Kitsap video production class held their first annual Cannes Film Festival.
During this charitable event, students showcased short films that they themselves produced. We were lucky enough to even be part of it.
Yep.
Michael McLaren reports. On Friday, January 23rd, 2009, the video production class at South Kitsap High School held its first ever Canned Food Film Festival. The Film Fest consisted of 7 short films, all written, produced, and edited by the advanced video class.
We have a job to do.
The event was held in the stage area, and it immediately followed after the acting ensemble's improv night. The cost of admission into this improv CFF extravaganza was 1 can of food minimum. Each item of food that was accumulated at the event was donated to the South Kitsap Helpline. Tom Henry put together and organized the Canned Film Festival.
Video production is a journalism program, always has been, always will be. But there's always been an interest in film, and what better way to experiment than for charity?
Throughout the course of the night, the theater became packed and more than 1,200 items of food was raised for the helpline. That's roughly 2 times more the amounts of seats in the theater.
The turnout was amazing. I was on cloud 9. Me and Scotty the whole time just were like, we cannot believe this is happening.
There was a lot of variety presented within the short films. The genres varied from comedy to suspense.
Everything is going as I have foreseen.
And horror to action. Ranging from the quality of these films, it was very clear that a lot of time, hard work, and effort was put into these films, and with outstanding results. Each film, aside from 2 of them, was also an entry for the Best in Show award. The judges were the 2 video instructors, Mike Downham and Tom Henry, with the 3rd judge being a former video student here, 2008 SK graduate Jordan Perry. Tom and Jordan both had films as well, but those were not eligible to compete for the award. The judges threw in their 2 cents, and a winner was decided upon. The film, A Not So Perfect Score, won the Best in Show award. This film was produced, edited, and acted in by Scott Bonjukian, Larissa Katz, Keaton Kovac, and Robert Taylor.
Yeah, it's today. I'm guarding the test today.
I think that A Not So Perfect Score, the winning short, was very, very well done. And I think that they knocked it out of the park. They did a very good job.
The general audience response to the fest was great, and the event received numerous positive feedback. So if you happen to miss it, just know that though we're not 100% sure of its return next year, there is still a possibility. Just stay tuned.
It's amazing what can come out of a short period of time with a strong amount of effort and talent all added in.
Moving from a short period of time to a long period of time, the Orchard Theater in downtown Port Orchard has been a local alternative film haven for many years now. Here's Cole Nelson with more.
In 1979, a group of businessmen from Port Orchard, Washington came together to fix Port Orchard up. Bob and Ursula Geiger were part of that group. The Knights of Pythius building, being a movie theater since it was built in 1923, was the perfect project for them. After buying the needed equipment, Granquist Construction Company gutted the building and rebuilt it as a twin theater named the Plaza Twin Cinema.
Some pretty good business, but gradually the pressure of going to see the first-run movies, the first day they were out and so forth, became greater and greater, and then they built 4 more screens up there, and this decimated our business more regardless of the different tactics we had.
After the business dwindled, the businessmen originally helping also dropped off, which caused further financial problems and leaving the responsibility of the theater in the hands of Bob and Ursula.
Ms. Geiger and I decided to try to run it. That was 1996, I think it was.
I don't remember.
Yeah, approximately 1996.
In 2005, after years of struggling with finances and the little problems that come with running a second-run movie theater, they were forced to shut down.
Things that they do. And then a little later, the movie theater business that owns the Bainbridge Multiplex and the Pleasant Beach movie theater, plus a number of other movie theaters in eastern Washington by Mount Vernon area, agreed to lease the theater area, and they did significant improvements, took out.
The historic theater in Port Orchard is an independent theater, meaning it plays independent films, which tend to be of a higher acting and writing caliber compared to other films. They also show cult classics like the Rocky Horror Picture Show and Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
The future of it lies with the products that are available. The economy is probably going to affect things a little bit. By comparison with the Cineplex and so forth, the prices are, you can come away from there spending a lot less money than you would up there and see really good bill of fare. Our hope is that everything will keep businesses alive there, and the place will afford a very convenient entertainment facility for Port Orchard and surrounding area for many years.
Strong histories do not start without some sort of effort.
In fact, the SKHS band recently participated at the Macys Day Parade in Seattle, where they performed center stage. Take a look.
Who are these talented performers? This is South Kitsap's very own marching band. On November 28, 2008, the band took to the streets of Seattle to play once again in the Macys Holiday Parade.
Okay, don't forget at the end and down. Mark time, hut.
Gary Grams, the band's director, was excited to have the band playing in Seattle. However, he had one big concern.
Don't mess up. We rehearse a lot
for a 2 or 3 minute performance. But the goal is to get there and to just be able to perform. Prepare well enough that you know what you're doing, what you need to do, and do it well.
King 5 was on location to film the parade live, and South Kitsap had the honor of being the featured band, getting over 3 minutes of airtime. After their opening march, the band moved to the end of the parade, just before Santa Claus.
Right! Face!
After a short wait, the band was on the march. The band will also be preparing for their performance at the 2010 Parade of Roses in Pasadena, California. They won the opportunity in a nationwide competition.
Every parade we march in will give us that much more experience to get in and do what we need to be able to do at the Rose Parade.
The band played 2 songs, Celtic Carol and the infamous Mr. Roboto.
I was very impressed. The kids did very, very well. All the rehearsal and the time we put into it paid off, and they performed exceptionally well.
After a long morning of marching, the band packed up and headed home, but not without some valuable experience. The band will continue the practice for the Rose Bowl and other events and improve their amazing talents.
That story was produced by our very own Scott Bonjukian, who happens to be one of the producers for WTV, SKH's very own news show.
Danae Hamill recently went behind the scenes of WTV to show you what goes on in a production. Enjoy.
Good morning, Sal. On the daily news show, WTV, you've seen the anchors part of the process. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes at WTV. The people on the technical side of WTV help make the entire show come together. There are multiple key parts in a successful production of WTV. There's a show producer.
There's one club news. That's awesome.
News from the outside world producer. Show director. Audio person.
Have some chalk.
Graphics person. 2 camera operators. And a teleprompter operator. The producer's job is to take the daily announcements from the emails sent in and create a script for the anchors to read. The Now anchor takes footage recorded from Como 4 News that morning and picks 3 stories to write and edit. While they record narration, their editor puts the stories together. You've seen the final product before. The anchor's job is to, well, direct the show. They tell the camera operators where to position and frame the cameras and change between the 2. The audio person makes sure that the anchors sound good. The graphics person creates various graphics such as sports and names to help enhance the anchor's effect on the show.
Alright, thank you.
Finally, the teleprompter operator runs the teleprompter at the anchor's reading speed.
Good morning, South Kitsap. I'm Joy Gold. And I'm Lou Lindo. We have tons of news for you today.
So with everything going on, every role must be difficult in some way.
Basically, the hardest thing about producing a show is just pretty much getting it done on time. I don't even get the script out until like 9:30, but other than that, it's pretty straightforward. You just gotta, write all the 2 shots and just get all the information in there.
Hardest part about being a director
is well, wrangling your crew, first of all. I mean, if you get kids that are new, I mean, they're kind of anxious to get going on stuff, and so you have to kind of encourage them, let them know that they're doing it correctly or tell them what they're doing wrong. The other part is kind of being in charge. I know as soon as we go live, I have this like brief moment of panic. I'm afraid I'm going to screw up or do something wrong.
Even though the production of the show is total chaos, everyone still seems to get along. There's the occasional knuckle touch, and sometimes even a little smile. Or, on a good day, a little dance to the ever so catchy opening song of WTV. So now that you know about the people behind the scenes of WTV, you can come to appreciate them a little more. It's a tough job, but it's got to be done somehow.
Amazing!
A lot of work sure goes into a single show.
In an effort to get away from the stress of the daily grind, some of the students enjoy winter sports, such as snowboarding.
Joey Cole recently took a camera up with him on one of his trips. Take a look.
It's the middle of winter in western Washington, and everyone is getting restless waiting for the clouds to lift and the sun to come out. But for snowboarders and skiers alike, it's the perfect time of year.
Foggy, but apparently it's supposed to be blue skies at the mountain. We're still about 40 miles away.
Like, Sunny!
I would like to take back my previous statement. We will have good conditions.
When the air is crisp and the snow is falling, there's nothing more they can ask for.
Dude, remember last season though?
It was better than this.
It started hella late. We got like 4 storms in February.
I invite you to come along for a ride with 3 of my closest friends to the summit at Snoqualmie.
Zoned out in my own backyard. Never thought I'd find peace without going that far. But edit made it slap hard when you play it back loud. Okay, that's art. Even if you said it wasn't my cousin, I'm painting still. Ranking real, cranking like white trash, baking on my light shining. I told you I don't need diamonds. Give me the diamond bundle and bypass the dongle. Now I'll decide how the song goes.
The best thing about Snoqualmie is definitely their park. They're rated top 10 in Trans World, and recently this year they've been building up a lot. Everything there's been getting a lot bigger, a lot more technical skills required, but it's just a place where you can go around, have a good time, hit anything you want, hit some big jumps, hit small jumps, hit a rail, hit a very complicated rail. You can pretty much do anything you want there. So my favorite part is definitely the park.
You're the verses, watch the choruses. Let's make music, chop it, tune it. Don't pitch it straight to me, beats the bait dummy. Who's producing? Edit. With awareness, that's what I learned. Cause in all fairness, most of vegetables.
What is snowboarding to me? I'd have to say it's when I feel passion. Just going out there, exploring everything you can, finding the new features, the new zones. It's all about exploration, and I think it's really about just having a good time with your friends. You just be out there with your buddies, having a good time, having the time of your life. What is snowboarding to me? I think I'd have to say that it's my life.
There you have it. We've gone from restaurants on the brink of closing
all the way to historic theaters and the deep depths of the ocean. I've been Robert Taylor.
And I'm Marisa Katz. See you next time.